I'll leave the floor to Mr. Knut Aurdal. Hope the pronunciation is quite good. Head of projects for GCE Blue Maritime Cluster. So talk about the green maritime transition in Norway for 2025. Thank you. Floor is yours.
Yeah. Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Thank you.
My name is Knut Aurdal. I'm the head of project in the Norwegian industrial cluster called Blue Maritime, which is the biggest maritime cluster in Norway. And I'll give you a little speech on what's going on there. Well, why Norway? First of all, we are quite a small nation, but we have a rather global impact on the maritime industry. If you look into this overview of the world's fleet, Norway actually has the 5th largest fleet in the world. And what's a little bit curious is if you look into it, it's at least if you look among the top 10, it's by far the most diverse. So I'll try to split this up a little bit, looking into the short sea, what's going on there, what I call the mid-range, and the deep sea. And so this will be a little bit of a crash course on what's going on, so stay tuned. Did you know that actually last month, 98% of the new cars sold in Norway was electric? And on the short sea side, the Maritime is following. It started a bit with this one. This is the first full electric ferry back in 2015, called Ampere, sailing over the Sognefjord, which started a race of electrification in this segment. And by today, close to 50% of all car ferries, and we have a lot of them because of all the fjords and so on, is electric, as you can see from the graph. Also, the first full electric high-speed catamaran was made in 2022. This has proven to be a bit more challenging to electrify. There's been developed a lot of technology. Still, things are moving ahead, but maybe not as fast as we were hoping for. On the other side, on the alternative fuel side, there's also been some interesting projects. The world's first hydrogen-powered ferry was entered into service in 2023, called Hydra. And some new ones are coming up as well. This one will be delivered next year and will be the largest car ferry powered by liquid hydrogen. But we see that things are going a little bit slower now in this segment. The technology development is still there, but maybe it's a little bit slower than it used to be. For instance, on the battery technologies. The development of the future fuel market has been very slow. But we see things happening a little bit there as well. And for sure now we have more discussion also on biofuels. Of course, many of the low-hanging fruits are picked. So there is a different cost pictures on longer routes. And also these segments, here also the laws of physics is relevant. And especially the energy density of alternative fuels really requires new designs. All right, so there is no size fits all. Moving over to what I call the mid-range. I'm located in the western coast of Norway, in a town called Ålesund. And in this area, we build a lot of specialized vessels. Offshore vessels, advanced fishing vessels, live fish carriers, and so on. If you look at a map from Norway, it looks a little bit like this. When you go further south, you have the chemical tanker companies in Bergen. Over on this east coast in Oslo, you have also the same type of companies operating from there, and in addition to the ro-ro companies. And of course, you have the offshore companies in the southwest. This is just a generalized picture, but it gives at least an overview. From our area and our cluster, this is vessels that has been delivered from the companies over the last few years. And these are projects that is under construction and being built these days. In these segments, I would say improving energy efficiency is the key nowadays. I will give you a couple of examples. Because it comes down to energy density. And especially when you try to put the alternative fuels on board, their surrounding systems take a lot of space. It's difficult to make good business cases that can compete with diesel, even though we see the taxation systems coming into place. This is an example on how the development has been on the offshore segment over the last years from a company called Ulstein. They have kind of halved the energy consumption per year, per vessel generation. I would say in general that from 2000 to 2009, that was the introduction of diesel electric propulsion. And what you see now from 2009 and to 2024, there's many sources, there's new innovative systems and so on, but maybe the main driver has been the hybridization of the power plants on board, allowing it to use very little energy in certain conditions, and at least in conditions where these vessels operate a lot. And this thing you see from other suppliers in the region as well. This is Skipsteknisk NRM delivering a construction vessel for the offshore wind industry. Also 55% reduction. This is also a vessel that is built for operational methanol on day one, so able to take down the emissions quite a lot. In addition to that, there's a lot of studies and work going on all kind of equipment. Frese just mentioned some types that is very relevant, and I know that many of the companies with us is also working with them. But in total, this is the Coastal Express. The Vard and Hurtigruten has made a study on what they can save on a vessel like this compared to today's vessel. And they see a 40 to 50% increase in addition. Maybe especially, on many types of systems, like the bow foils, for instance, which is an interesting feature that has been developed in Norway over the recent years. So summing up a little bit this segment, the technology development, that has been very high over the last years. In Norway, we've had quite good governmental support, especially on this, let's say, mid-range. We have not lifted any alternative fuels projects really, but in particular, the hybridization of these offshore vessels has had some funding, and that has proven as a very good measure to cut emissions. What is a little bit tricky here is that even though the technology is developing, the financial aspects and the contractual aspects is not really changing. So especially when you go over to alternative fuels, the risk is mostly on the ship owner, and the contractor again is not really incentivized. So in total, that I feel is something that stops the process as long as not the contractual part of the work actually being done by the vessel is developed. Okay, I think I'm running out of time.
1 minute.
1 minute, sorry. Okay, then I will be quick. Deep sea, we see some different interesting projects as well. This is, for instance, Odfjell Tankers that has installed sails on one of their chemical tankers, proving to be very efficient on a route between EU and the US. And we have some interesting discussions going on in Norway these days on nuclear power and propulsion, actually. It's kind of interesting if you go back to this graph, which I think is very good from DNV. If this line from 0 to where hydrogen is 1 meter, then uranium would actually be 32 kilometers away in that direction, and thorium a little bit further. So this is for sure something that is picking up. It's quite far ahead still, but some interesting research projects coming up. Maybe the biggest is this from the Norwegian University of Science and Technology called Knut, where they have as a target to install a small modular reactor on board one of these LNG tankers to Knutsen within the next decade. So that was a lot. A little bit onwards. I think the important thing forward also for us is to cooperate on a broader scale. With me, I have at least 195 partners working in a very complete and diverse maritime value chain. They are spread along everything from ship owners to equipment factorers to service providers. And just thinking a little bit back on how, let's say, Norway and Italy can cooperate in the way forward. I used to work in Vard, actually. Some of you know that is a Fincantieri company, and I was managing things like this. And what this taught me is that the Norwegian and Italian maritime industry is very complementary, right? So I think there's a good opportunity, at least to work in the supply chains, but to do a lot of R&D together in the way forward. And we've seen proven already that this Norwegian innovation and Italian industrial excellence has been a success. So our mantra in the cluster is to collaborate when you can and compete when you have to. And then I think we just have to continue. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aurdal.